It's just crap. We might have an interesting battle between big tech and mainstream media on our hands. Let's take a look. So this is an article that has come out from Newsweek, and it is titled "YouTube says anti-Amber Heard videos do not violate policies." Interesting. Why would Newsweek be so interested in anti-Amber Heard videos? So let's get into the article. YouTube has said that a channel on the platform that posts videos dedicated to anti-Amber Heard content does not violate its community guidelines. The channel is called Justin, but appears to have been formally named Filmstreak. It recently posted a job seeking a researcher to source content that proves how guilty Amber Heard is. The post listing has since been deleted, but the channel was seeking researchers to gather content for $8 per hour that presents the Aquaman actress in a negative light to appeal to Johnny Depp fans. Basically, we're looking for content that concerns something that proves how guilty Amber Heard is, as our fans are Johnny Depp fans, so they prefer videos about new evidence, celebrities, or something else that goes against Amber Heard or supports Johnny Depp, the job description read at the time. And then it goes into a screen grab of the YouTube thumbnails from this channel. Depp sued Heard for defamation. We know all of this. Videos on the channel contain titles such as Amber seeks out sex worker to help pay her debt to Johnny. New rumour, Amber's baby was only a PR stunt to gain pity. At the time of writing, Justin has posted 13 anti-Amber Heard videos on YouTube within the last 24 hours. It appears to be a content farm, and the job listing said it is based in Cyprus. Newsweek has contacted the channel for comment. Despite the channel posting blatantly ridiculous videos that negatively target one individual, YouTube told Newsweek that it does not violate the platform's guidelines. Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. Our hate speech policies strictly prohibit content promoting violence or hatred against individuals or groups based on certain protected attributes, a spokesperson for YouTube said. We enforce our community guidelines rigorously and removed over 95,000 videos for violating our hate speech policy in the last 3 months of 2022. The platform reviewed the channel and a number of its videos and concluded, upon review, the flagged videos do not violate our community guidelines or our advertiser-friendly guidelines. But the thing that really obviously stands out is that YouTube said this violates no policy. These are just, this is just rags. This is the gossip column. This is the equivalent of National Enquirer content on YouTube. They're not actually creating hate speech. It's not really misogyny. It's just crap. And it doesn't violate policies. Now, the interesting thing to me is I only remember Filmstreak ever coming up once throughout all of this. So if you ever went onto YouTube and you looked for any of the JDAH trial content, you would have probably come across Filmstreak, and it's obviously clickbait. That goes without saying. But what was interesting is the only time that this ever came up on Twitter that I am aware of personally, and please correct me if I'm wrong, was when Kat Tenbarge, the culture and tech reporter at NBC, tweeted this. And this came out on the 17th of August, and she says, a YouTube channel called Filmstreak, just in, is seeking people that can pay $8 per hour to research new incriminating info about Amber Heard to feed their ravenous audience. If this doesn't sum up modern internet consumption dynamics, I don't know what does. And this is in response to another account called Survive and Thrive that sent her she's responded to this rather, proof that Team Depp are actively hiring people for the sole purpose of digging up dirt on Amber and anybody who supports her, at Kat Tenbarge. As I said, this is the first time I am conscious of this particular channel being mentioned. So that came out from Kat on the 17th. And then we've had this article from Newsweek. This came out on the 14th of September. And this has just come out as Christopher Boozy from Sentinel has done a hit piece on that Umbrella guy, claiming that his content is misogynistic because he talks a lot about Amber Heard in his channel. Obviously, he's been covering the case and this split between Johnny and Amber for a while now. But it's interesting that this has come out around the same time as Boozy's report that's just gone out into Rolling Stone magazine. Now, Boozy has specifically targeted Tug in his report, and there's a whole bunch of fallout about that because it looks like Boozy hasn't done a particularly good job in quoting Tug. In fact, he appears to have selected the beginning of a quote and then put the end of that quote from 6 hours later. So effectively he had Frankensteined two sentences together and created a quote which is effectively a misquote of what Tug actually said. But the ironic thing, as a side note, is there's been a lot of decrying that Tug has all of these, how many hundreds, maybe even thousands of videos, thousands of hours of content, and yet the only thing that Boozy could find was one hybrid quote that even began to suggest anything along the lines of hate speech or misogyny, which is actually a pretty good indication that Tug's pretty well restrained when he talks about this, considering he obviously doesn't like her. So what's interesting here is that Kat Tenbarge went on a bit of a Twitter rant on June 2, where she effectively decried the outcome of the trial and pretty much said social media bad, mainstream media good. She talked about how most people had not watched the trial and we had no journalistic standards and effectively had no right to comment on the trial the way she does as a journalist, even though she admitted to Popcorn Planet that she hadn't even watched the trial. She claims that this is her being on the right side of history, and yet her sole purpose seems to be to support Amber Heard in her content. I find that very disturbing from somebody who is writing content on behalf of NBC, a news channel, and she's clearly writing opinion pieces under the banner of culture and tech. It doesn't add up. And whilst a journalist is allowed to write their opinion, they are supposed to make it very clear that it is an opinion piece, which Kat never does. Which suggests to me that the entire agenda for Kat is not about what's actually happening, it's about supporting something else. Mainstream media missed the boat on the trial. When you look at the numbers of where people put their attention when the trial was happening, everybody was watching the live streams, whether that was on TikTok or YouTube. They were not paying attention to mainstream media, and mainstream media didn't like that because they lost a lot of money from those eyeballs being turned away. So to ensure that that never happened again, they've turned around and have consistently attacked social media as the bad guys because there are certain agents that made quite a bit of money out of that. But there is no difference between somebody on YouTube making money from reporting on a story versus somebody on NBC's website making money from reporting a story. There is no difference. And as much as you can cry journalistic standards, you should be following those standards yourself before you start decrying them and complaining that nobody else has them. And that is the ultimate hypocrisy I've seen from Kat Tenbarge and NBC. YouTube is kind of taking a stance against mainstream media in this this weird mass flagging that seems to happen, which is exactly what Boozy's been trying to do to Tug, and which has led to Tug effectively making some of his videos private to stop them from mass flagging his channel for no reason. And this seems to be part of this silencing culture that we're in right now, where rather than us being able to have adult conversations and any kind of debate on a topic, we are called trolls, bots, part of a conspiracy. We're like QAnon. If we believe that justice was done in a trial, in a court of law in Virginia, we are targeted as hate speech. It absolutely blows my mind that this is where we are with so-called modern journalism, that if you have an opposing view, you will be mass flagged. If you have an opposing view, you are called a troll or a bot, or you're put on a hate tracker like Christopher Boozy has. And then, where does this end? Who is the arbiter of truth and fact? Who is it that determines whether we have the right to have an opposing opinion? Who do we give that role to? Who is it that we trust that much to police our own mouths when we talk about our own opinions? Because this, to me, echoes some pretty disturbing periods of history where certain individuals have attempted to silence other individuals because of their opinions. So this is an interesting time, and I think it will be, again, very interesting to see how Google progresses with this, because Amber Heard's team are most certainly not done, even though the money, we question where the money is coming from. This will no doubt continue, and those of us that have any desire to speak up and speak out have or will be doxxed and attacked and accused of a whole bunch of heinous, disgusting things. But we still stand up and try our best to share what is the truth and what is going on. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. And as always, please do like, comment, subscribe and share. All interactions help with the channel. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys.